Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, race number 10 at the fairgrounds on Saturday is the Buddy Diliberto Memorial Stakes. Let's take a peek at this field. Some nice turf horses getting set to go the about distance of 1 1/16. $75,000 is the purse. I want to start with the number 2. Great Wide Open, who has just come to form for trainer Connor Murphy in his last 3 starts. Heck, 2 back at 81-1. He was second in the Grade 1 Shadwell Turf Mile, and last time out at the fairgrounds, James Graham gave this horse a beautiful ride. He was able to shake clear early. He gave Great Wide Open a nice breather. When the other horses came to him, he spurted clear again. The question I have for you is, do you foresee a similar trip here, and does he need that trip to succeed?
Well, when you go through and look at his overall body of work, he's won 6 races from 37 lifetime starts. Here in the United States, he's won twice, both of those in gate-to-wire fashion. And then you go back and take a look at his form overseas. He has a win and straight to the lead. Second by a neck, but he was out there on the lead. He wins by a head early to lead. Point is, common denominator is he needs to be out there in order to get the job done. I don't think he has the ability to, even if he's up there pushing the pace, I just don't think he has the ability to go on and pass horses. We've seen it time and time again. Some of these horses, they absolutely need to have it out there. And if they don't, they're not going to go buy anyone. The good news, if you like this horse, he is the speed nearest the rail. They have one way to go with him. You got to send him and just try to take this field as far as you can. I think he's going to be facing better horses this time around. I'm not totally convinced he's quite that level. I'm using him underneath, though.
Let's throw up the Timeform US Pace Projector, and I want to remind everybody at home that Timeform US's Pace Projector adjusts after scratches. Visit timeformus.com after scratches and changes. This Pace Projector might change because the horse expected to push Great Wide Open or even outfoot him for the lead after the first half mile. The 4 Pioneer Spirit is also cross-entered on dirt earlier in the card. If he scratches, it makes things a lot easier for Great Wide Open.
Well, it changes the entire complexion of the race because I kind of agree with the Pace Projector as is right now. But if you were to take the 4 out of it and the 2 is out there all by his lonesome, I think all of a sudden Florent Giroux's hand on Big Changes, the number 5, you can't afford to sit that far back. I think Big Changes is a better horse overall than Great Wide Open, but if you believe that, you're going to have to go up there and keep that horse honest because the last thing you want to do is give him too big of a head start.
Let's talk about a horse on the far outside. That's the 9, 24-7, who chased Great Wide Open in vain last time out. I thought all things considered, it was an okay effort off of the layoff in a race where Great Wide Open had control from the start. His prior effort, the Arlington Million, listen, he was just simply overmatched against Robert Bruce. But this is a horse going out for the connections of the Pizza Man from a few years back that I think has shown some ability. Won 3 straight earlier this year before being stepped up into the graded stakes ranks. Give him a little pace, he might surprise, at least underneath in single race exotics.
I was going to say, I have to be honest with you, I think he ran quite well in those runs 2 and 3 starts back. And like you say, 46-1 against Robert Bruce and Almanar and those types, but he was only 4.5 lengths beaten. I know he finished 7th, but thought that was a respectable effort. If you think second off the layoff, he takes a step forward in here, and let's say he gets into the mid-90 range, there's no reason to think that he's not knocking on the door to possibly get top honors in here. I like him better underneath just because of his running style, but I think there's a real scenario where he comes with a run.
I think Team Colors, the 8, has an outside chance in here at a price. Last time out in the River City Handicap, it was only a 5-horse field over yielding going. There really wasn't a lot of pace. He tried to come from next to last, and he couldn't quicken with the big 2 in the stretch. His prior race showed that he can still run. That was a good performance at Keeneland with a 95 buyer. He does have some back class for Joe Sharp.
I picked him second in here. I liked him in the River City, and I think that yielding turf didn't work to his advantage, and also there was no pace signed on that day. Something to keep an eye on. He's been late with his lead changes, very late in each of the past 2 starts. You have to wonder, he's 6, soon to be 7 years old, but I still think there is something there. If there was probably going to be more pace signed on, I would have been a little bit more inclined to maybe take a shot with him, but I'm picking him second. I think he's going to run well.
Memory Bank finished second to Great Wide Open last time out, and he made this nice 3-wide move as the pace was slowing down, and he got to within a half length of Great Wide Open, and then Great Wide Open just spurted away again. What worried me the most, and I know Memory Bank responded with a career best buyer, and it's now been 2 career best buyers in a row for this horse, he just didn't change leads in the stretch, and that worries me as he faces a good field like this.
And you know, he's also one of those horses that I do wonder, I'm not suggesting that the numbers are entirely wrong as far as that most recent run is concerned, that N3X, but he's never run anything really that fast. And all of a sudden, what, because he runs second to Great Wide Open, who, when he's at his best, is capable of running something, he just happened to jump up in lifetime start number 17? There's a part of me that wonders, is he actually that fast, or is he a notch or two below what we just saw?
Teodoro is another horse in this wide open field that has a legitimate chance to win at a price. 15-1 on the morning line for Teodoro, who made his North American debut in the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic. And in that race, over an extremely soft turf course, he chased the winner Channel Maker through those legitimately fast fractions, and he paid the price. I don't think he liked the cut in the ground at all. I don't think he liked being part of that pace. And this horse was good enough to win a group race in England 3 starts back. My one question for you is, do you think he actually wants a little more ground?
Yeah, 100%. I just kind of look at this distance and say maybe it's a means to an end to get ready for a race like the Mervyn Muniz later on in this meeting, but at a mile and a 16th, boy, I feel like he's just going to be having the engine cooking at that point. I know he's got a little bit of early speed and he can be relatively close. I agree with you. I don't think he likes being up there pushing it over that soft going, but he's not one of those typical Europeans that come over here and have just no speed whatsoever. I just think he wants more ground than what he's going to get here on Saturday.
Trainer Michael Maker has 2 in here. The one Sir Dudley Diggs, a Queen's Plate winner, a Barbados Gold Cup winner, and last time out in the River City, another one that might have been victimized by the yielding turf course and the slow pace. He has always been a nice, honest campaigner. He gets a good inside post position. He probably will work out a good trip. He's been somewhat of a nibbler throughout his career, but the price will be right for Top Connections.
Yeah, if you like him, I certainly wouldn't talk you off of him. I haven't loved his form since he came back from Barbados, and who knows, perhaps it's just a situation where he's got a little bit of vacation mind still, but I don't know. I mean, I look at it and say if he runs his best race, he's certainly there. Based on the recent form, it leaves a little bit to be desired.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Buddy Diliberto Memorial Stakes. You're going to go with the number 5. Big Changes, who set the pace in the River City last time out. No match for Mr. Misunderstood, but we know that Mr. Misunderstood is a legitimate graded stakes threat anytime he steps on the racetrack. So a little class relief for Big Changes, who prior to the River City reeled off 5 consecutive wins and has the speed to sit a really good trip right off Great Wide Open.
Yeah, and really, again, that's kind of, to me, what it comes down to. I think Flo's got to be cognizant of where that 2 horse is and how fast they're going, because the last thing you want to do, and this is assuming the 4 horse scratches, if you let him get out there, that horse can get brave out there. We've seen it in the past. I think Big Changes needs to use a little bit of the early speed. Just be within shouting distance. Don't go up there and get into any kind of a duel. But if you park just off of him, I think he's a more talented horse than Great Wide Open is. You're not going to get any sort of price on this horse, but he's paired up career top buyers at 96. I think you're looking at a pretty solid effort, and I think he's a live and logical win contender. I think he's the most likely winner of the race.
After 15 consecutive graded stakes runs, Oscar Nominated gets some class relief, dropping into a listed race, and maybe it's a sign that Michael Maker doesn't think he can run anymore. But when you look at Oscar Nominated's overall form, Maker knows how to place him. He's far from being a star. He is very honest, but he's earned $1.5 million because Maker knows how to read a condition book, and he was entered in that very salty turf race last week at Gulfstream, and I think Maker took one look at that field and said, I don't think I want to deal with those horses right now. Now, he's turning back in distance, and Timeform US has him far back, and to be honest, I don't think Oscar Nominated can win coming from last or next to last, so I'm hoping Ricardo Santana can have him a little bit closer to the pace this time around. On class, I think he can win. Last time out in the Sycamore, I have to be honest, I really didn't see much of an excuse. He was just flat that day. Rare for this horse.
I have to be honest with you. The thing that turned me off with Oscar Nominated, I picked him 3rd, I believe, but the bigger thing is it's just the distance. In mile and 16th, he hasn't gone this short a distance since, what, December of 2016 when he was a 3-year-old? I feel like this is probably just a means to an end. Get a race into him because he has been gone for a little while. We haven't seen him since October. Get a race into him and stretch him back out. You've got those big races back at Gulfstream coming up at a mile and a half, whether it's the Pan Am or the McKnight. You've got so many different options with this horse. I wonder if this is one where they'll be very pleased if he comes with a belated run. Maybe he runs a good 3rd in here, and then you can stretch him out in distance going forward. He's certainly there with one of his best races. I'm just not sold about the distance.
Give me numbers.
5872.
7256 for me in the Buddy Diliberto Memorial. Race 10 at the Fairgrounds has an approximate post time of 4:51 Central. Best of luck.